I feel my power. Alice, I think she was the brain of our double, that's for sure, and I was the power.
30,000 Filipinos, a single Austrian city, and a 20-year-old Alex Eala stepping into her first clay court battle at this level before.
No, I don't think that it makes it easier. Every single match is so tough.
And as Alex Eala arrives in Linz for the Upper Austria Ladies Linz, her first WTA 500 appearance on clay. The momentum is already building before she even strikes a ball, with the Philippine Embassy in Austria encouraging fans to attend, trains departing from Vienna filling with supporters, and a diaspora transforming a normally quiet European city into something the tennis world rarely experiences. Ranked 45 after a strong hard court swing that included round of 16 runs at Indian Wells and the Miami Open, Eala enters new territory on clay, a surface she dominated in junior competition, but has yet to fully test at the highest professional level. And days before her debut, she posted an Instagram story from a Filipino grocery store in Linz, captioned, "Ooh, Pilipinas," a small but telling moment showing that wherever she travels, she carries home with her, and home is about to arrive in force. The contrast becomes even sharper when placed beside Aryna Sabalenka, who holds a dominant 2026 record and the world #1 ranking, yet reportedly faced sparse attendance during some recent matches. While in Linz, despite Sabalenka not even being a draw, the spotlight is shifting toward Eala, as tournament director Sandra Reichel publicly praised her as unbelievable and confirmed she would compete on center court throughout the event, a decision reflecting expectations of strong turnout fueled by Austria's roughly 30,000-strong Filipino community, many within short travel distance, creating an atmosphere that transforms a standard WTA 500 event into a cultural gathering. And for other players in the field, the experience may feel dramatically different from a usual tour stop, with flags, chants, and energy centered around one rising name. While discussions around attendance disparities from Indian Wells to Miami continue circulating among fans online, the reverse scenario appears to be unfolding in Linz, where Eala, still building her professional resume, is drawing attention typically reserved for top seeds, a sign that fan engagement is not always determined by rankings, but by connection, identity, and shared pride. And when Reichel, a former professional herself, identifies that momentum and assigns center court from the outset, it reflects a deeper understanding that this is not just another competitor entering the draw, but a phenomenon influencing ticket demand, travel patterns, and the broader narrative of women's tennis, signaling that traditional promotional models built solely around rankings may now be facing a powerful new dynamic. Cultural identity, diaspora pride, and the strength of representation are now shaping the conversation. Because Filipino communities exist in nearly every major city across the globe, with more than 100 million people in the Philippines and millions more living throughout the Middle East, Europe, North America, and Asia. And when one of their own, like Alex Eala, steps onto a tennis court, it becomes more than just a match. It becomes recognition of presence, value, and belonging in a sport that has traditionally revolved around European and American stars. Eala's upcoming schedule includes Stuttgart Open, Roland Garros, and several clay events leading into summer. And if the mobilization in Linz is any indication, tournament directors across Europe may soon experience what it means to host a player supported by an entire nation. Meanwhile, Aryna Sabalenka continues dominating on court, her results undeniable and her record impressive. Yet if the attendance conversations from Indian Wells and the Miami Open continue, and if fans keep gravitating toward emotional connection over ranking supremacy, the WTA could face a commercial shift where the player lifting trophies and the player filling stadiums are no longer always the same. Eala's journey is not flawless either, as Miami demonstrated when she reached the round of 16 after strong wins over Lourdes Carl and Magda Linette before facing Karolina Machova with a 6-0. 6-2 scoreline highlighting the distance still, separating the top 50 from the elite tier. Yet Eala did not dwell publicly on the loss, instead transitioning quietly to clay. Preparation, flying to Austria, visiting a Filipino grocery store, and sharing a simple moment of joy, demonstrating resilience without theatrics and growth without over-explanation. Sandra Reichel labeled her unbelievable. Roughly 30,000 Filipinos mobilized across Austria. The Philippine Embassy encouraged support, and a 20-year-old making her clay debut earned center court placement ahead of higher seeds, while elsewhere the world #1 has occasionally played in front of noticeable empty sections. illustrating that Eala is not only advancing competitively, but also reshaping the economics of fan attention, proving that the People's Champion era is no longer hypothetical, but already unfolding, widening the gap between ranking dominance and cultural influence. Supporters who believed early are now seeing that belief validated, not because she has won a Grand Slam or broken into the top 10 yet, but because she has become impossible to ignore by remaining authentic, raising the question of whether Eala's fan movement represents the future of WTA attendance or whether top-ranked players will eventually develop similar cultural reach, and ultimately asking who fans will choose to support the next time they purchase tickets. Because those following her rise already understand this is only the beginning, with the clay swing building toward Roland Garros, where what unfolds next could make Linz feel like just the opening act. Leaving one final question. How far can she go? In her first true clay campaign at this level, as the believers gain momentum and the global tennis audience begins to pay attention,